Randy Travis, country singer, he had a stroke in a Texas hospital last night. Randy Travis, the legendary singer of heartfelt country ballads, has always been known for his quiet strength and smooth vocals. Behind the calm exterior is a man who has seen the industry's ups and downs and speaks his mind. Travis revealed the darker side of his journey, naming 5 fellow artists who left him bitter. The truth about behind-the-scenes feuds, creative clashes, and personal betrayals may shock fans and critics. Who was Randy Travis's worst enemy and why? Enjoy this video as we explain everything. Country music history remembers Randy Travis when country royalty clashed behind the curtain. He became one of Nashville's legends with a generation-defining voice. His journey has had storms, like many stars. Randy struggled with alcoholism and a life-threatening illness that shocked fans and fellow artists. Travis reportedly began exploring ways to reconnect with audiences and possibly relaunch his music career after his health scare and slow recovery. Whispers started then. Randy's team reportedly approached Taylor Swift, pop country's queen, for a duet, according to Showbiz Spy. She reportedly declined, surprising everyone. The report said an unnamed Travis source said Randy is desperate to restart his career. He had his people contact Taylor Swift about a duet, but she declined. Taylor avoids Randy, according to another unnamed Swift source. She knows all his problems. Someone like that can't be with her. None of this has been confirmed by Swift, Travis, or their teams. If true, it suggests a quiet tension between 2 country fame eras. Reputation, timing, and public image stakes may cause a missed connection, not hate. Others in the music industry supported Travis. During the George Jones tribute show, Hollywood legend Jon Voight called for a chain of love in Randy's honor. Despite his struggles, Travis is still loved by many in the industry. Although Taylor Swift kept her distance, the story isn't about enemies. It's about image, timing, and how legends sometimes face closed doors. Who else fits this category besides Taylor Swift? Who may be in Randy Travis's Black Book? Watch to find out. Randy Travis and Reba McEntire were country music's golden age's most iconic duo. 2 megastars who shared the spotlight gracefully. Nashville royalty performed, presented awards, and stood together. That outward harmony hid a deeper story of unspoken competition and professional conflict. Randy adored classic country music's simplicity. Reba changed things. She ventured into music, television, Broadway, and even product lines due to her ambition, aggression, and business savvy. Reba was seen as the future of country music, a performer who could cross genres without breaking herself as her brand grew. Randy struggled to see the growing dominance. He respected Reba. Instead, he admired her voice, assertiveness, and grit. Each success she added to her empire seemed to push him further from country music's ever-changing center stage. The subtle signs were noticed by industry insiders. Reba won at a 1990s awards show while Randy lost. Backstage, he stood silently off to the side, his expression tight, as Reba glided past with congratulations. A longtime collaborator said Randy half-jokingly said, "She's not just winning awards, she's ruling the industry." The tension went beyond praise. It was philosophical. Randy stuck to his roots while Reba changed her music, image, and marketing. He considered country music sacred and untouchable. He thought Reba's pop success was dishonest. He never publicly criticized her, but friends say he grumbled when her crossover songs ruled the radio. They had quiet conflict at a charity event where both were performing. Reba was promoted to headline last minute, pushing Randy's performance earlier. He reportedly confided backstage despite appearing cordial on stage. Strange how some people always win. Despite his frustrations, Randy never resented Reba. He struggled without her. Due to fame's unpredictability and an industry that didn't always reward tradition, she was strong and influential, but seeing her become an institution made him feel marginalized in a society he helped create. The rivalry was based on heartache, not malice. 2 icons, one adapting and the other standing firm, both made by a genre large enough to fit them, but not always fair in its light. The list of Randy Travis's worst singers continues. Stay tuned for updates. Randy Travis versus Garth Brooks. Country Titans' quiet conflict. Fans considered Randy Travis and Garth Brooks country music legends with voices that define generations. However, these titans had a tense relationship behind the scenes. When two different country music visions met, what appeared to be professional respect on stage was years of silent friction. Before making waves in the early 1990s, Garth Brooks did more. He altered genre. His energetic shows, dramatic flair, and stadium tours made country music a spectacle. Pyrotechnics, choreography, and pop-infused melodies replaced simplicity and sorrow songs in the genre. Garth became the face of this new commercialized country, personable, crossover-friendly, and unavoidable. Randy Travis considered the change a betrayal. Randy was known for traditionalism. Without gimmicks or flair, his music was honest, emotive, and classic country. Simple tales with soulful vocals and steel-string guitars. Watching the industry embrace Garth's arena-sized entertainment was nerve-wracking. Randy saw it as more than a style change. It revamped the genre's soul. Randy stayed true to his music's moral and emotional core, while Garth enjoyed stardom, charming talk show hosts, and pop charts. He valued sincerity over praise, and Garth's rise felt like the genre was straying too far. A quiet confrontation occurred. It was quiet but sharp. Industry insiders reported icy shoulders and short sidesteps. Randy gave Garth a stiff handshake at an awards show without looking at him. He avoided talking to Garth backstage to avoid the charismatic young star. Their rivalry went beyond style. The topic was legacy. Garth envisioned a global, flashy, unpredictable country music future. Randy represented the past, steadfast, soulful, and deeply traditional. The conflict between them reflected the genre's struggle between evolution and preservation, spectacle and substance. While they never publicly criticized each other, Randy Travis and Garth Brooks' unspoken rift revealed the changing nature of country music and the anguish that can come when even the greatest artist's ground shifts. Randy Travis's true feelings about Garth Brooks' rise were carefully hidden in his interviews. Despite polite applause and professional smiles, he never named names, but gave a clear picture. Randy frequently discussed country music's changing tone, including losing its soul or roots. These subtle Garth Brooks references were obvious to those who understood the context. This quiet conflict was most evident at the 1992 Country Music Association Awards. Randy, still at his peak, had quietly hoped to win Entertainer of the Year, Album of the Year, and several other awards, but Garth carried the night. Although he sat in the crowd clapping, his friends later noticed his tension. In a night of spotlights, Randy's jaw tightened slightly as Garth bounded up the steps, oozing charm and thanking his team with well-rehearsed enthusiasm. Competition did not lead to a public feud. Although they never criticized each other in interviews or the press, Randy didn't hide his frustrations behind closed doors. He expressed his disapproval of Garth, not Garth himself, but the shift in country music from storytelling and simplicity to showmanship and spectacle, to trusted friends and collaborators. Randy believed this was not about ego or honor, a matter of identity. Country music had given him everything, so he preserved its traditions. He was disillusioned as it became flashier and more commercial. Randy believed the genre was growing but drifting. The silent competition expanded beyond two performers with different styles. It symbolized the tug-of-war in country music. Randy Travis provided emotional stability and a voice from the past. Tidal wave Garth Brooks changed the future. Randy never said it, but his closest friends could see it in his eyes. Garth Brooks was no ordinary rising star. Randy could not accept his transformation. Who might have challenged Randy Travis if he and Garth Brooks had a silent rivalry? Find out. Choir Boy versus Outlaw? Randy Travis versus Travis Tritt. If Randy Travis was the country choir boy, Travis Tritt was the outlaw with a six-string and a grin crashing the church picnic. Their musical worlds were completely different, one filled with gospel and grace. Grit and rebellion soaked the other. Both were undoubtedly rural. That made their rivalry magnetic and flammable. Tritt's early 1990s explosion shook the foundations. He charged stages with electric guitar licks, raspy vocals, and lyrics about beer, broken hearts, and boot-stomping freedom, mixing southern rock with honky-tonk bravado. Randy, who wrote introspective ballads with spiritual overtones, felt offended. Tritt's style broke and burned the rules. When their tours overlapped, tensions rose. On the same bill, the The difference was huge. Tritt left the crowd sweating and energized with Southern rock. Randy would then calmly restore the sacred mood. Fans may not have known that backstage air could be cold. Randy told his crew several times that Tritt's arena-style antics were eroding country music. The most notorious clash occurred at a mid-1990s festival. Stage placement and set time disputes soured the show for both stars. Tritt requested fireworks and lights. Randy sought authenticity. One crew member said Randy mocked a promoter. Calling Bon Jovi would be my opening act. Country circles repeated the line for years. Even interviews showed their philosophical differences. Randy lamented the genre's spectacle obsession in a joint sit-down. "Country's about stories, not stunts," he whispered. But everyone in the room knew who the comment was for. Tritt grinned and replied, "No idea. I believe fun never hurts. Maybe some should try it." Something deeper lay beneath the sparring: respect. Both artists loved music, but not in the same way. Randy saw the fire, but thought Tritt was too loud and flashy. Despite his bravado, Tritt never criticized Randy's voice, songwriting, or genre history. Pettiness didn't start their fight. It was passion-driven. Two men on opposite banks of the same river, each believing their current carried country music's soul. Does it end yet? Can anyone else top the list? Watch to find out. When idols fall, Randy Travis and George Jones' pain. Randy Travis' world revolved around George Jones. Jones was more than a country icon as the possum. His voice shaped Randy's dreams. Randy wore out George's records as a child, imitating his haunting vibrato and absorbing the heartbreak, soul, and grit. George was more than influential. He was God. Randy always credited George as one of his biggest influences when his career took off in the mid-1980s. Randy found their first meeting backstage at an award show surreal. The legend, warm, gracious, and playful, welcomed him like family. Fans and peers blurred beautifully for a moment. Awe wouldn't last forever. As Randy immersed himself in the world he had admired from afar, George's myth began to crumble. All of Nashville knew about George's drinking, disappearances, and demons. Randy saw it up close. He saw chaos follow George into the studio like a shadow. Randy, a disciplined and focused person, found it hard to accept. His friends still whisper one story with a sigh. Randy and George were to record a duet in the early 90s. Randy saw it as the culmination of his dream. George was hours late on the day. He couldn't sing when he fell in. Randy waited, staying calm. He packed up and left without a fuss. Later, he told friends, "I wanted to stand beside my hero in that booth, but not like this." It went beyond personal disappointment. A professional dilemma arose. Randy's clean-cut image contrasted with George's immortal, volatile one. Respect never faded, but shine did. Randy was reminded that even legends are human when the idol fell, but not completely. Randy always praised George's music in interviews and tributes. Despite his flaws and frustrations, George Jones gave Randy Travis a microphone. Maybe that's the hardest part of loving heroes. Song inheritance isn't automatic. You get their scars. Randy Travis always considered country music sacred, worthy of honor, polish, and presentation. That was his goal. He wore suits on stage, kept his personal life private, and took each performance seriously. He didn't just sing. His tradition was on his back. However, George Jones was the beautiful disaster, with a voice that could break your heart and a lifestyle that could burn it down. Randy was trying to overcome his stereotype. George's raw, wounded performances moved audiences, but his erratic behavior and public struggles portrayed country artists as unreliable and chaotic. Randy wanted genre improvement. In interviews, he chose words carefully. But there was subtext. He stressed professionalism, punctuality, and treating talent as a gift. Members knew what he meant, not just general reflections. The quiet laments were for George, not spiteful, but sad. Randy didn't just respect George. The man loved him. He wanted him to triumph over the demons and gracefully take his rightful throne. Dejection came from that deeply human place where admiration meets reality and loses. Still, Randy never shot cheaply. He never airs dirty clothes. He kept his cool in public despite the bitterness behind closed doors. Randy honored George as a legend. That's what made everything tragic. It was not a competitive rivalry. Slow-motion heartbreak. Once obsessed with George's records, a young man now watches him crumble. Not anger, but the ache of wanting more. They wanted to preserve George, the music, and their legacy. Beyond these names and rivalries, how did Randy Travis change country music? Find out. Silent storm that changed country music. Randy Travis changed the game before most artists hit their stride. Born Randy Bruce Trowick on May 4, 1959, he became a star and symbol, a quiet storm that redefined country at a time when it was straying from its roots. Randy's breakthrough album, Storms of Life, sold and roared in 1986. Triple platinum. It worked without flash or flair. Country music returned home with his deep baritone voice, aching lyrics, and musical style. Randy revived tradition during pop country hybrid's reign. Besides being hits, On the Other Hand and Forever and Ever, Amen were declarations. His collaborations with Kyle Lenning, Paul Overstreet, and Don Schlitz were among the most successful in country music. Each song they made was purposeful and polished. Randy established standards, not trends. Randy shifted rather than faded in the late 1990s as his mainstream popularity declined. He followed gospel out of devotion, not survival. Word Records albums like Rise and Shine showed his voice and message still resonated. He won multiple Dove Awards and Grammys for his gospel work. 3 Wooden Crosses showed Randy's versatility by blending sacred and radio hits. Randy was a cornerstone of the neo-traditional country movement, which revived steel guitars, fiddles, and storytelling. Every artist who slows down, lets a lyric breathe, and honors the roots instead of reinventing the wheel is influenced by him. Although not the flashiest, loudest, or most controversial country music voice, Randy Travis was the anchor. Anchors don't drift. They hold. What obstacles did Randy Travis face? Watch to find out. Voice silenced. Spirit unbroken. For Randy Travis, July 6, 2013, changed everything. A routine hospital visit for breathing problems became a survival struggle. Randy began with walking pneumonia and worsened overnight. Next morning, he could barely breathe. When he was rushed back to the hospital, doctors found fluid in both lungs and a stopped heart. Doctors revived Randy on life support after he lay flat. The diagnosis was grim: cardiomyopathy, a viral heart infection. Randy had likely contracted the infection weeks earlier while filming in an old Louisiana feed store. 2 days later, doctors discovered he had a massive stroke, which was the worst blow. Randy's wife Mary had to make a terrible decision before life-saving surgery. The doctors gave her no hope, predicting a 1 to 2% chance of survival. That sliver meant everything to Mary. The 1 to 2% chance is now 100% over zero, she told the Tennessean. She prayed for anything to save her husband. The surgery was successful, but the recovery was difficult. Randy spent nearly 6 months in hospitals, had 3 tracheotomies, 2 brain surgeries, and multiple infections. His body broke, but his and Mary's will were strong. Randy finally returned home for Thanksgiving in November 2013 after a doctor change and a powerful new antibiotic. But the stroke left deep scars. Randy had aphasia, a language disorder. Doctors predicted no improvement, but Randy defied them. Randy slowly and stubbornly found his voice again. Mary later said he said a new word or two every day. Conversation is difficult, but one miracle stood out. Still, Randy could sing. As Randy Travis took the stage at his 2016 Country Music Hall of Fame induction, the crowd went silent. He sang an amazing grace verse in a moment that stopped time. A declaration, not just music. He was present. How did Randy Travis overcome these obstacles?